Testing. Mic check. Testing. 1, 2. We got it on. What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to touch in on a topic. Get a lot of comments and emails and phone calls and people just checking in on how I'm doing and how the business is going out here since I bought my truck. You know, I'm 3 months in roughly to when I bought my truck, and well, everything, short version is everything's going all right. I'm definitely making more money than I've ever made, and a lot more freedom than I've ever had. And with that, of course, comes a responsibility, but we'll touch on that a little bit more in a minute. So, at no point have I, do I, or will I try to convince somebody they need to go out and buy a truck. When people reach out to me and they ask me what I think about them doing this or them doing that, or talking about the situation that I'm in versus the one that they're in, where they want to be in their life, and kind of talking about goals and kind of seeing if the square peg's going to go in the square hole, so to speak, making sure everything makes sense. Get a lot of questions about, you know, was it worth it? Is it worth it? Has it been worth it with everything that you have gone through so far, just in 3 months? Learning how to run a load board, how to dispatch myself, how to make sure I get my loads scheduled back to back enough to where my truck is profitable, but I'm also running legal. A big question I've been getting lately is about, well, how you feel about fuel being $4 a gallon? Well, and essentially the question is based around regret. You know, do you regret knowing that fuel got into it and knowing that fuel is now $4 a gallon? And the answer to that is no. That's a resounding no, because if I was an owner-operator a year ago when fuel was under $2 or whatever, around the $2 mark anyway, I wouldn't have got out of the business because fuel went up to $4, so why in the hell would I not get into it because it's at $4? And I know you can argue that somebody with experience knows how to run their business and maintain and survive through the bad times. Well, fuel is high, but well, y'all, so is freight. Doesn't always coincide with each other. I know sometimes I'll grab loads that probably should pay a little more than they do based on their weight, and fuel surcharge should be a little bit heavier and stuff like that. But let's talk about risk. Let's just make a smooth transition into risk. People ask me about, is it worth the risk knowing the state that we're in as a country with our government and whatnot? My simple answer to that is there's never a good time to buy a truck. An example I like to use, whether you have children or not, this doesn't matter, but there's never a good time, never has there been a perfect time for anybody to have a child. I mean, we're all out here working, we're all out here at the mercy of somebody flipping a switch and the economy taking a dump. And this isn't the first time in history that people have given up on the world economy, more specifically the economy right at your back door. Not the first time, and it's not going to be the last. So I say to that, it's no different, I think, than buying a truck. I mean, yeah, you can also argue, well, rates might be higher, but so is the cost of buying a truck, cost of owning a truck, so on and so forth. Well, at the end of the day, you've got to weigh your risks. You have got to weigh what your risks are versus your reward. I'm a risky guy. I'm always more worried about what the bill's gonna look like at the end of my story when they hand me that bill and I haven't taken risks. That's what I'm gonna be worried about. I would rather regret something that I did do than to regret something I didn't do. I'm not out here trying to convince you or close the deal that you need to go drive your own truck with your name on the door. But you've got to do something you've never done if you want something that you've never had. And I don't mind helping anybody along the way. Matter of fact, I'm going to invite you in this video. If you have questions, comments, concerns along the way, you need somebody to just bounce ideas off of, I'm your guy. I'd be glad to help you in any way. But at the end of the day, somebody else's decision on your life is about as useless as a doggy door on a submarine. It ain't gonna do nobody any good. You make your decisions. You can get help from people you know, respect or enjoy their company. But other than that, your decision at the end of your story, what's that bill gonna look like when they hand you for the risks that you did take versus the ones that you didn't take? And I'm not saying everybody needs to go out here and just take all the risks in the world. There's some folks out here that are single income families. And if you were to get into a truck, you're putting you and your 6 or 11 kids at risk. But you're also putting yourself in a possible opportunity to make more money than you've ever made. That's not a decision for me to make. But you've really got to consider where it is you want to be and how you want to get there. And I come from corporate America myself. As you know, if you've watched this channel any real length of time, and I don't miss it one bit. I had a rough day yesterday. Rough day. I had a load cancel. I had 2 loads cancel in one day. The load I was wanting to pick up and a load that was supposed to be done the day after tomorrow. Means I just had to take a 34 before I wanted to, and I lost $800. Actually, I lost $1,500 losing those two runs. And I couldn't really justify grabbing another load after they got canceled because I couldn't risk losing the load because it's a really fat daddy, really nice load that's getting me from where I am back over to the house. And it's always nice to get paid good money to drive home. But it was a bad day. Ran into it with the broker. Ran into it with the shipper. But referencing back to my corporate America statement, I gotta tell you, I'll take a bad week in trucking over a good day at the office. I don't miss it, not one bit. Don't want to go back. As y'all know, I got into this thing as a company driver. One thing led to another, and here I am driving my own truck. And I love it. But you might hate it. There ain't no way to know. And the real scary part is there ain't no way to know unless you do it. But there are alternatives out there. You drop to Walmart, make about $100,000 a year. Right now, the way the market is, you can work, there's several companies you can work at and make real good money and have no risk or responsibility. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're thinking about whether or not you ought to buy a truck, don't let everybody else tell you whether you ought to do it or not. Don't let market trends and so on and so forth make the decision for you and your family. If you ain't got one now, family you'll have down the road. Don't let them make that decision for you. You live your life. It's your journey, for better or worse. when you make your decision, at least you'll know. If things go south, that's on me. If things go well, that's on me. That's all I got. If y'all need me for anything, y'all just give me a shout. And I appreciate y'all watching my channel and sticking around for all these years. Until next time, drive on, driver. And y'all stay safe out there.